Hey guys, Peter here to tell you about the latest from Once Human, Scar Weaver, out February 11th on Ear Music. This album has 10 tracks, 41 minutes in length, and this is the band's third full-length studio album. They are an American heavy metal band. For this album, I felt like they created a record that feels broken, or at least it left me with that sensation that what you get in the first half is not necessarily what you're going to get in the second half. On the first half of the album, you have the similarities that the songs have driving the experience for the listener, making the album feel more balanced, more cohesive, tighter, even linear at times. On the second half, the diverging elements, the uniqueness that each and every single song has musically and vocally, are the drivers of the experience, making that portion of the record more dynamic, more engaging, more energetic. I wanted the album to be better weaved, bringing these two sides together so you have more ebbs and flows. The album flows a lot better from start to finish, being more engaging all around, more energetic, and overall increasing the overall playability. Not having this divide that gives you a sense of two sides of one single coin. Once you move into the soundscape, the album is definitely groovy. That is the calling card of this band and is the calling card of this record. And that grooviness is big at times. Sometimes that grooviness moves into heaviness, sometimes it allows it to be melodic, but it's always there dictating exactly what the sound experience is going to be all about. And this is an album that has a lot of substance in that sound, that feels big but still very polished, so easy to understand, easy to digest. It's also a very heavy guitar-driven record. The guitars are the motor, the driver, the steering wheel, the gasoline, everything that this album has to offer. The speed, the momentum, the force, the direction that the songs take, everything falls on the shoulders of the guitar playing. And that's undeniable throughout the entire record, regardless of which song you're listening to. Now, the bass on this album helps the guitars when it comes to the grooviness. I felt that the songs that had more of that groove bass line had the bass behind it helping it, making it more noticeable, making it a little bit thicker, and increasing the size of the volume. On the other side, you have the drums. The drums more often than not are helping, but they're helping with the heaviness that this record holds. The drums are very heavy on this album, and outside of the vocals is perhaps the predominant element when it comes to heaviness on a consistent basis from start to finish. Now, the vocals on this record, you're obviously going to get clean and harsh vocals. I want to start off with the harsh vocals because I thought they were phenomenal. A little bit lower, a little bit deeper, a little bit heavier, with a little bit more aggression to it, and it works really well for the soundscape that this album has because you want something to create the edges as far as heaviness are concerned. On one end you have the drums, and on the other end you have the vocals. Everything else is packed in between. So the vocals from that perspective, as far as the heaviness and the harshness that they carry, really worked well with the design of the album and the sound that the album has within itself. The clean vocals are interesting because they break the monotony. They give you a little bit of something different to digest. I wanted more of them throughout the entire album. I didn't feel like I got enough. I didn't feel like I got enough to allow me to feel and understand the breaks and to create a little bit more of a dynamic mechanism vocally within some of these songs. It would really help the fluidity of the tracks, and it would make the songs overall feel a lot more engaging. Now, there's also a guest appearance on this record. Rob of Machine Head is in one of the tracks singing in one of the songs, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. Not that I don't like Rob, not that I don't like his voice. I just feel like when you add a guest vocalist on a track, you need to bring somebody who's going to be different than what you already have, or at least you're going to create a song that allows the differences between the two vocalists to come into the forefront. It was not the case. It became a little bit muddied between them, and I don't think that enhances the playability of a track, and I don't think you get the most out of that guest appearances when you go down that road. You should always look for something that breaks things apart, that diverges, that makes things different, not that brings things together. Overall, this is a very interesting album. It has a lot of quality. That's undeniable. When you look at the drums, the overall soundscape, the guitars, the grooviness that the guitars have, the overall guitar sound, the vocal dynamic could have been a little bit better, but I really enjoyed those harsh vocals. The tone that they had were very interesting. So it's a very interesting album with a lot of quality, but it's not an album that has incredible playability. It didn't really make me feel like I needed to go back for more because I didn't get enough the first time around. It feels very flat at times. It feels like what you see is what you get, and there's nothing else left for you to discover. So because of that, the overall playability, the overall impact that the record has becomes a little bit diminished when you look at the quality that the album actually holds. As far as favorite songs, I'm going to start off with Scar Weaver. thick sound with groovy bass lines and groovy guitar rhythms. Incredible. From that perspective, the song really packs a lot of it in it. The vocals add heaviness, helping out the drums. The heaviness on this track really comes from the drums and vocals together, one on each end, and everything else is happening in between. So it's a song that mixes grooviness with heaviness very well from start to finish, creating some waves, creating some ripples, allowing the verses to be perhaps a little bit more direct, and allowing the chorus to be a little bit more bouncy, more engaging. But a very interesting song from start to finish, one that moves really well. Next, you have Deserted, a track that mixes grooviness with intensity. Not necessarily heaviness, but intensity, making the song come alive. This is a track that moves a little bit faster than Scar Weaver. Scar Weaver was not methodic, but it moved very slow. The heaviness that it had didn't allow it to move any faster. Deserted moves slightly faster. Still not very fast, but you could see that the tempo is different. It has energy in the sound. It has energy in the vocal performance. The harsh vocals in the verses are really interesting because they drag the song down, they ground the track, and they add consistency to the overall performance of the song itself. Then you have the clean vocals in the chorus, and that becomes the calling card. That is the part of the song that really breaks apart, sounds different, feels different, and allows the listener to always look forward to it when you're navigating through this track. You're always looking forward to that chorus because you're always going to be looking forward towards those clean vocals. Last but not least, we have We Ride, a song that is off to the races from the start. This track, there's an escalation between these three. Starts slow, moves a little bit faster, and this one just turned on the boost and it just went. It's just a song that never breaks, never stops. From the start to finish, it just rips. It has almost a punk vibe to it in terms of the dynamic that it has, in terms of the movement that it carries, the aggression and intensity that it has also. It loses a little bit more of the melodic side, it loses a little bit of the grooviness side, allowing heaviness and intensity to really dictate the tempo, to really dictate the movement that the track has. Vocally, the same thing. I felt like the vocals really catch up with the sound, the two packing in together, allowing the song to feel very consistent and having this snowball effect that it just keeps moving and moving down the mountain. Now, one element of this track that I thought was really interesting was the guitar solos. The guitar solos were phenomenal. For a song that moves this fast, that has this much intensity, that has this much aggression, I was not expecting the solos to come across the way that they did. Very melodic, adding energy to the track, not pausing the track, but slowing the track a little bit, allowing you to enjoy that moment before the onslaught progresses. So very interesting track in terms of how it's constructed, delivered, and the guitar solos are phenomenal. This is it. Once Human, Scar Weaver, out February 11th on Ear Music. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.